Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon each and every one of you. In Surah Rahman, there is a very powerful verse. And this verse, I believe, is the best source or the best cause or the reason to encourage ourselves to do the goodness. To do the goodness or amal salih or any good action which entails the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very simple verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al-ihsan. Hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al-ihsan. What does it mean? It means, now this thing that Allah has mentioned in this verse it is in a question way. Allah is asking us. At the same time He is telling us, and then He is asking us to ask ourselves. Allah is saying to us that is there any reward of goodness except for the goodness? Is there any reward of kindness except for kindness? Is there any reward of forgiving others except that you're going to receive Allah's forgiveness in this dunya and as well as in the akhirah? That's what it means. Is there any reward of goodness except for goodness? So it's a promise. So in other words, for sure, there is an assurance in this verse. There is a guarantee in this verse that as long as we are on the path of righteousness, on the path of honesty, on the path of truthfulness, even if it is against our own nafs, even if it is against our own ego, our own desires, but if we remain firm on the path of righteousness, on the path of honesty and the truthfulness, Allah is going to reward you. Even if it is going to go against you, you're doing it for the sake of Allah, you're doing it for the pleasure of Allah, Allah is writing down your effort. Allah is writing down your endeavors. Allah is writing down your sacrifices, as long as it is done with the good and sincere and the pure intention. So this is the first thing we have established. What is that we established? That when we do good, good comes to us. When we do good, Allah is going to multiply that good with 70 and with 7,000, and we're going to see the reward of that good, the effects of that good in our heart, in our life, and in our family, in the society that we're living, in the community that we're living, in our business, in our sustenance. And at the same time, most importantly, we're going to see the huge, massive effects of that goodness on the Day of Judgment. That is a promise of Allah. So whenever you get any opportunity to do the good, my brothers and sisters, even if it is through your tongue, even if it is just by guarding your tongue, that is goodness itself. So goodness is not only doing the good, goodness is also when you stop yourself from wrong. You understood the point? Good deeds is not only when you perform the salat, good deeds are also when somebody is giving you the opportunity to commit the sin, but you're saying, no, I'm not going to indulge myself. That itself is the big jihad actually, a big form of the goodness. That is the pinnacle of piety and the pinnacle of the righteousness, where you are able to build this concept, where you are able to build that attitude within yourself, where that conscious always reminding you that no, this is not something aligned with the instructions and with the teachings of your Lord, the one who has created you. So that is also the good, my brothers and sisters. So when we do good, good follows us. This is something that you need to understand. Now I'm going to mention few hadiths in front of you. Number one hadith. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, it is transmitted by Imam Ahmad, hadith number 23074. 23074, authentic hadith. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that, innaka lan tada'a shay'an lillahi azza wa jal illa baddalaka Allahu bihi ma huwa khairul lak. Aw kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam. Very simple hadith. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that verily, indeed, you will never leave anything for the sake of Allah except that Allah will replace it with something better for you. It is difficult to forgive your family members, to forgive your friends, to forgive your colleagues because they upset you. But you saying, it's okay. I don't want to indulge myself in this kind of the confusion, in this kind of the disagreement, in this kind of the dispute. I'm going to let it go for the sake of Allah. And what is the reward? That Allah will replace it with something better. We love wealth, we love money, but Allah is asking us to spend. And sometimes things are difficult for us to spend, but you're still spending. You're still giving some dollars to the masjid. You're still doing something for the sake of Allah. Allah will replace it with thousands, with millions for you. You just need to take the initiative. Initiative is never from Allah, remember this. We have this misunderstanding, misconception that Allah will guide me. Oh bhai, Allah will only guide you when you have that thirst of receiving that guidance of Allah. You understanding the point or not? When you have that yearning, that burning desire within yourself that you really want to get up for the Fajr Salah, then and there you will get up for the Fajr Salah. You can't be asking people, make dua so that I can perform the Fajr. The way I was asking Brother Riyaz to make the dua for me, because overall dua, general dua, I can't expect from him that make the dua so that I can perform tahajjud. And I'm myself sleeping 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, watching and doing this and that. How on earth I'm going to wake up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? So you have to make your personal endeavor, personal effort, then and there guidance will come to you, my brothers and sisters. So Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that verily you will never leave anything for the sake of Allah, for the pleasure of Allah, except that Allah will replace it with something better for you. This is one thing. As I mentioned in the beginning, that remember, Allah do not waste our actions. When we do good, Allah is going to reward us. Sometimes it may be hard for us, hard on our heart. It's difficult on our heart to do certain things in our life for the sake of Allah. But remember, why are you doing it? Allah is writing the record for you. Allah is writing the record for you. Allah said in the Holy Quran, Surah Al-A'raf, verse number 119, the second last verse of Surah Al-Ma'idah. Allah said on the day of judgment, Allah will say on the day of judgment something very interesting. He will say, Haza yawmu yanfa'u sadiqina sidquhum. Allah will say, Allah will address to the people, to the believing men and to the believing women, and He will tell them that this is the day on which truthful will profit from their truth. This is the day on which truthful ones, they're going to receive the benefit, they're going to receive the profit from their truth, the truth that they lived with in this dunya. The honest one, they're going to receive the profit and the benefit because of their honesty. The generous one, going to receive the benefit and the profit through their generosity. The forgiving one is going to receive the profit, is going to receive the benefit through their compassion, through their ability of forgiving others for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the promise. You may be thinking that you're doing something which is difficult, and you thinking this is something very small, and I don't know if Allah is going to reward me, or if people are going to reward me, or if people are going to notice of this of my sacrifice, or this of my endeavor. But remember, Allah is noticing. Allah is writing, while you're doing those actions, Allah is writing it down, even if it is small things. For example, let's say you have a business opportunity, let's say you have an opportunity to make the money, to make the wealth. You just have to shuffle few things. You just have to move few things from here to there. But you know inside, this is wrong, this is haram. This money, this earning, this business prosperity I'm talking about, or my business partner is talking about, is through the haram doors, through the wrong platforms, through the wrong channels. So you telling to yourself that no, I can't do this. So you leaving this profit if it is $1 or 1 million, you leaving this profit because it is forcing you to indulge in the disobedience of Allah. When you're doing this for the sake of Allah, Allah is writing it down. Allah is writing the reward for you. And on the day of judgment, Allah will say, today is the reward for you, because you are honest, you were truthful with me. Truthfulness is not only with the people, truthfulness is also with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to be right, we have to be accurate, we have to be up to the mark about the promise, about the contract that we made between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're leaving it. And subhanAllah, this was the quality of Salafus Salihin. Salafus Salihin means a predecessor. They used to say that tarakna nisfal halal, that we used to give up half of the halal things just to protect ourselves from the haram things. We used to leave half of the halal thing, means that when we used to have any doubt in anything, although 99% we know is halal, we can adjust somewhere, but some doubt we have it, we used to give it up. Because we didn't want to even go closer to the haram things, to those things which are not legit, which are not permissible for us. So they said that we used to leave half of the halal things that Allah has did it for us, subhanAllah. This is the pinnacle of the piety and the righteousness, my brothers and sisters. Let me give you another example. For example, you loaned somebody, you're giving a loan to somebody, you loaned someone some money, and now the person is not giving you back, which is in most cases, when you give somebody, that's it. On the day of judgment, probably, the person is going to return you. That's another topic, inshallah, I'm going to indulge as well. Remember, on the day of judgment, Allah will say, Yawma yanfa'u sadiqina sidquhum. This is the day that the truthful one are going to benefit because of their truthfulness. So when you're taking the loan from somebody, you telling him or telling her, okay, within a month I'm going to return. And you making the promises, you signing the papers, you making the pledges, you saying it in front of 2-3 people. And now months passed, years passed, the person become grandfather as well, and you still owing him. And now, even now you want to give him back, you want to return her the money, you're saying, no, it was not 10,000, rather it was 7,000. It was not 10,000, rather it was 9,000 and something. This is the case that many of you face, isn't it? So my brothers and sisters, first of all, this is not good. Absolutely, because ayatul munafiq salasa, the sign of a hypocrite are 3. 3, Even if you are performing 5 salah, and you have a big black mark on your forehead, and you have all kind of stretch marks on your entire body because of you performing the tahajjud salat as well, and your foot swollen because you made thousands of tawaf of Kaaba. But if you have these 3 things in you, you are munafiq. You are hypocrite. Highest level of hypocrite. What is these 3 things? Iza hadasa kazaba. When he talks, he lies. He sells his products, he sells his whatever the knowledge through lies. Good? Waida, whenever he makes the promises, he betrays the promises. Ask yourself. Betraying the promises is a cool thing nowadays. On a regular basis we do it. On a daily basis. And we tell to ourselves that no, is important to survive in the society. In a society, if you can't lie, if you can't fool, if you can't deceive people, you are not a good survival. For a survival in the society nowadays, you have to do these things. This is once again from the shaitan. Because shaitan runs in our veins, in our body, the way the blood runs in our veins, isn't it? So sometimes we try to justify for certain things, and we thinking that this idea or this opinion is produced and generated by me. But in reality, that is given by shaitan. That is produced and generated by the shaitan, isn't it? So, the sign of a hypocrite, when he talks, he lies. When he speaks, he lies. And when he makes the promises, he betrays those promises. And then, what is the third one? When he is entrusted with something, that he doesn't fulfill those trusts. So what I was saying, I was giving you the example. That you loaned someone a money and the person now don't want to give you back. And even if he wants to give you back, he's saying, it's done at 10,000, rather it's 5,000. So you're saying to yourself, no problem. Leave it as it is. I'm going to forgive it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't you think Allah is going to reward you for this action and for this deed on the day of judgment? Yes, sometimes it's difficult for us. But we need to learn to do things for the sake of Allah. And when you will do it, Allah will replace it with something much, much, much better than that. This is what I mentioned earlier. We just have to build this conscious, we just have to build this concept, this belief that Allah is the one, hasbi Allah, Allah is the one. And وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. He gives you the sustenance from there where you don't even expect actually. You have a deal, you have a business deal in front of you, but you realize in this business deal some haram elements are involved. I'm going to make some haram money although that haram money is only few cents, few dollars. And shaitan may be telling you, and you yourself is telling you, okay, no problem, that's okay, it's just at $10, 100,000, but that's okay, man. I will make 30 million, 10 million, 5 million, and out of that I will give 1 million to charity. Shaitan, na? Good? So, but you're saying, no, I can't do this. I can't pollute my iman. I can't pollute my trust that I have between me and my Creator. I can't pollute that contract that I have between me and my Creator. I can't. So don't you think just by giving up this thing, don't you think Allah is going to fill your hearts and put the barakat in your sustenance? This is what Allah is saying in this verse, that Haza yawmu yanfa'u sadiqina, this is the day on which truthful will profit from their truth. And lahum jannatun tajri min tahtir anhar, they will be granted palaces in the paradise. Huge, massive mansions in the paradise, and beneath those palaces there are rivers. Subhanallah. And khalidina fiha abada, they will live, they will abide in those palaces forever. And zalikal fawzul azim, this is the true success. This is the true success. We think true success is 1 million, 10 million. True success is some position in the society, in the community. True success is when people are telling you how pious, how righteous, how big Imam, how big Maulana is. That is a true success. But no, Zalik al-Fawzul Azim. You've, for what they say, you sacrificing whatever the opportunity is in front of you. The lifetime opportunity sometime in life we receive. But we realize, no, in this some wrong is going on. But you sacrificing it for the sake of Allah. Allah will never waste it, just remember that. Allah will never waste your efforts. While you're doing these things, angels are writing. Allah is recording it. And on the day of judgment, it will be shown to you. It will be shown to you, and it will become the reason of your delight and reason of your joy and happiness, my brothers and sisters. So do things for the sake of Allah, for the pleasure of Allah, and you will see how Allah will open the doors for you. وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ, Allah will give you sustenance from there where you were not even expecting. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ, whoever truly rely on Allah, Allah is enough for him. You at least make the effort to rely on Him, na? Make the effort to rely on Him. And وَيَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا, Allah will grant you the openings, or Allah will open the doors for you. Where you are surrounded by the darkness, where you are surrounded by different challenges, but you are firm that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am pleased in all of my situations, in all of my conditions. You just being patient, and sooner or later Allah will open the doors. And you will even forget every pain and every suffering that you had. Every single one of them. You will not even think of those things. But patience is important. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah. You believers, seek my help. Ask my help with patience and with the salah, with the prayer. So do good actions, good deeds for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And same thing can apply to my brothers and sisters. For example, you have a dispute with your family member. Good? I just remember this point. Let's say you have a dispute with your family member, with your friend, and all kind of things are happening, all kind of disagreements are happening. But you're saying, no man, let me just exit from this situation. Let me just exit from this situation. Let me just not engage in this kind of a dispute. Let me just forgive him or whatever, to come out of this for the sake of Allah, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will see how light you will feel, how good you will feel. Last night I was mentioning the hadith in the zikr session, that the one who refrain himself from disputes, especially with the family members, with the friends, although he is on right, although she is on haqq, but they still refrain themselves from engaging in such disputes, Allah will build the palaces for them in the middle of the paradise. Or Allah will, subhanallah, Allah will give them the highest palaces in the paradise, subhanallah. The authentic hadith of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sunan Abu Dawud, it is mentioned Sunan Abu Dawud, hadith number 4800. So educate yourself about these things, inshallah. Short and very small life we have. We don't have time, a believer don't have time to hate this one and to create some sort of rancor and the animosity and the jealousy in your heart for somebody and for this one. Live your life for the sake of Allah, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any opportunity comes in your life where you can get closer to Allah, avail that opportunity. Even if it is hard on your nafs, on your soul, on your own desires, do it for the sake of Allah. And you will see how beautiful you will feel. How peaceful you will feel, inshallah. You will literally feel the tranquility or the sakina is descending upon you. So we ask Allah to make us among the sadiqeen. Allahumma ja'alna min as-sadiqeen. Ya Allah, make us among the truthful ones. Make us among those who promise those who fulfill their promises. Ya Allah, make us among those who guard their tongue. Ya Allah, make us among those who are honest in their transactions, in their business dealings. Ya Allah, make us among those who, Ya Rabbul Alameen, earn through the right channels, through the right platforms. And Ya Allah, make us among those who have the ability to say no when the haram is portrayed and beautified in front of them. Make these kind of du'as. This dunya is very appealing. Everybody love money, everybody want wealth, millions of dollars in the account, everybody want fame. But my brothers and sisters, the true fame is the fame of the hereafter. The true success is the success of the hereafter. The true wealth is the wealth of the hereafter, and zalik al-fawzul azim. We need to understand this. Zalik al-fawzul azim. If you miss out few checks, if you miss out few millions or few thousand, no problem. That's okay. As long as you are, at least you know, alhamdulillah, I'm doing what is pleased by my creator. The first option was mine, where I wanted such amount of money in my bank account, where I wanted such position in my life. That was my first option. But it didn't happen, it didn't occur, no problem. I'm going to choose the option which is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the second option. And anything that is happening in your life that you were not expecting, obviously it is happening through the will of Allah. So He is your master now. You should be more happy now because He is controlling your affairs now. In the first option, you were controlling. And in the second option, your creator is controlling. So who has the better ability to fix up your affairs? You or your creator? Tell me now. Creator. So, وَأُفَوِّدُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. Say these things, which means I entrust my affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although this family member of mine is backbiting me, slandering me, doing all kind of mischief to my children, but no problem, man. Let him do, let her do. I entrust my affairs to Allah. Let Allah intervene. Why you always want to change the result with your own hands? When Allah is saying, leave it on me, I will fix it. Because remember, Allah is not what they say, unjust. Allah is just, al-adil. And وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. Allah never forgets. People may forget the oppression that you faced. People may forget the oppression that the people of Gaza facing right now. The people of the Palestine facing. The world may, stop themselves and they pause and they don't even talk about it. But Allah, how on earth Allah is going to forget this? When Allah Himself, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا, your Lord never forgets. We have forgetful memory, but not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you do good, Allah is writing it down. And when you do wrong, remember, there is a punishment, there is a consequence you're going to face in this dunya and as well as in the life of the hereafter. So we ask Allah to make us among the pious, among the righteous. Jazakallah wa akhru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.